सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Om. Pranams to the lotus feet of the Lord, pranams to all the Mahatmas and Gurujis, pranams to all of you. As we discussed in the last class, where we concluded the Vishnu Sahasranama, and we said we will start Neeti Shatakam from Bhadrahari. So today we will start that with the grace of the Lord and all the Mahatmas. Before getting into the scripture proper, text proper, I will give you some introduction so that you are fully familiar with that. And then we will go into the text proper. I have given you the shlokas because Neeti Shatakam has got 100 shlokas and about 60 odd shlokas have been selected, and I have circulated those shlokas also to all of you. When I refer to different books, the number sequencing may be a little vary, which if you are following any book. So I suggest you follow that English and then Sanskrit one, and you can do that. Okay. Now, this Neeti Shatakam, which is a work attributed to the great person Bhadrahari, and we do not have much information about him. We do not have much information about Bhadrahari because in our culture, we did not give much importance to histories and biographies. We never had any concept of history or biography until very recently. It is because, according to our tradition, history is time bound and biography deal with the time bound people. Therefore, they did not care about these, whereas we gave importance to Dharma and Brahman, they called Moksha, both of which are not time bound. If at all we had the stories of royal people and sages, there also the stress was not on the people or their biographies, but the stress was on Dharma through their stories. That is why facts are often mixed with fiction. We do not know which part is a fact and which part is a story. For example, if we take Ramayana, where Ramayana in many places, we feel that it is a historical event. Ramayana and Mahabharata are itihasam. That means which is documented as it happened. That's what itihasam. Itihasam. So we have got glues and places such as Nashik or Panchavati or Sri Lanka indicating that people actually moving about. Therefore, it is an historical event. Rama is a historical person. But when we read Ramayana, suddenly we get a doubt. No, because Ravana has got 10 heads. How can a person have 10 heads? If there are 10 heads, how many heads are on both sides? there is one in the middle. Now 9 heads have to be balanced. So many questions will come. Therefore, it appears Ravana is a fictitious person, or he may be a person who may really have existed, because we said itihasam, it has happened. So he is a person, but the 10 heads may symbolize something else. As Swami Dayananda nicely puts it, 10 heads indicate a person of conflict. So with one head itself, we have so many conflicts. Now, whether to go to the camp or not, whether to go to the temple or not, we have got so many confusions come. So the different heads symbolize different personalities. On one side, yes, he was a great Shiva Bhakta, expert in Samaveda, one who has seen Shiva and got Chandrahasa gift. So he is an extremely great, noble Vedic person. On the other side, he has got a Rakshasa attitude, the base tendencies like taking away somebody else's wife. So para, dhara, apaharanam is considered one of the Panchamaha Papams. So should be called Ravana a Maha Shiva Bhakta or Mahapapi. So both the personalities are there. So how to represent? So probably they would have said put the heads. So thus you take Ramayana, you take Mahabharata, you take Puranas, You do not know what is fact and what is fiction. Because Purana, some people translate it as mythological. No, it is not mythology. Purana means ancient. Puranam doesn't mean mythology. Mythology means it's a imagination. Whereas Puranam is ancient. Again, there are so many stories are there, and we do not know which is a real history and which is a fiction. We do not know because they wrote like that because it is because they were not interested in the histories or biographies. Through the stories, they wanted to teach dharma, which is beyond history, which is beyond time, which is Sanatana Dharma. Because of this unique outlook, we face a problem. The problem is that we cannot really know how many details. Now, many we cannot really know many details about our Mahatmas. We do not know the details such as where they lived, no, the work they wrote, their disciples, etc. For example, you go to Bhajagovindam, for example, there are certain shlokas where we know this first part of Bhajagovindam, Acharya has done it, Shankaracharya. The second part, other disciples have done it. So some of the disciples' names are given, some of them disciple name itself is not given. Some of the disciples have done some work, some of them we cannot find any work of those disciples also. So we do not know these details because there is no record. They themselves were not interested in recording their biographies. For any great person in any field in India, his date of birth or his place of birth are all controversial. No one knows the time when one of the greatest persons like Adi Shankara lived. According to Kanchimadam, it says 500 BC or 400 BC, 500, 402, around that time. According to another Mata, they say it is 788 AD. So, what is the gap between the 500 BC and 700 AD? It is 1200 years of difference. Thus, we find there is a controversy regarding Shankaracharya. Similarly, Kalidasa is one of the greatest poets of our culture. So, date of Kalidasa is still controversy. Okay, what I want to say is we never really focus on the history or biography. They say Kalidasa was in the court of Vikramaditya and we get some kind of a satisfaction. And if you know Vikramaditya's date, Kalidasa's date will be clear. But the problem is that what Vikramaditya's date itself is controversial. So we are not sure whether it's a Maurya Vamsha Vikramaditya or Gupta Vamsha Vikramaditya. There is a few hundred years difference between them. So there again is BC AD problem is coming. Thus, any topic in our culture we cannot clearly say historically, and we can never know biography. In the same way, Bhartrhari is one of the greatest persons in our culture. He is known for his knowledge of different subject matters such as literature, grammar, Vedanta, poetics, or any other worldly subjects. Unfortunately, regarding the time of Bhartrhari also, there is a confusion. So according to the hearsay, some stories come. So it is just a Shankaracharya's biography. If you take it Shankara Vijayam, they say there are about 30 odd Shankara Vijayams are available. Each one presenting the biography of Shankaracharya. I heard in one lecture there is 31 numbers. Somebody said 28. We do not know the numbers also. So you find variations from Shankara Vijayam to Shankara Vijayam. So where did Shankaracharya disappear? Some people say he disappeared in Kedarnath. Some people say he disappeared in Kanchipuram. Nobody knows. And unfortunately, people fight. When we don't have the proof for either of them, why should we fight? But there is a fight. Now, according to hearsay, they say Bhartrhari is the elder brother of King Vikramaditya of Vikrama era fame. He himself was a great king, therefore well versed in everything, including statecraft, etc. He got disgusted in the worldly life and he renounced everything and became a sannyasi. They tell different stories for that also. Anyhow, we will keep the story part away. So the popular hearsay is that he is the elder brother of Vikramaditya. Therefore, he is a Kshatriya king who later became a sannyasi. If that is so, he must be in the first century BC or something, and that is a hearsay. We have no proof at all. Then some people analyzed based on literary evidences, and there are different methods used, and they say he was just before the 500 AD. But whatever may be, Definitely he was before 500 AD only. Therefore, he must have existed even before Adi Shankaracharya himself. Assuming Shankaracharya is in 788 AD. Thus, Bhadrahari is one of the very ancient persons of our history. There are many works attributed to him. One of his famous works is Shatakatrayam. Shatakatrayam. Shatakam means a work of 100 slokas, 100 verses. Just as a Panchakam means a work of 5 verses, Ashtakam means a work of 8 verses, Dashakam means a work of 10 verses. So similarly, Shatakam means a work of 100 slokas, 100 verses. Like that, he wrote 3 Shatakams known as Shataka Trayam. And these 3 Shatakams are Shringara Shatakam, Neeti Shatakam, and Vairagya Shatakam. Even though each one is known as Shatakam, they are not exactly 100 verses. For example, Neeti Shatakam itself has got more than 120 verses. So these Shatakams put together have more than 400 shlokas. Therefore, we do not know whether Bhadrahari wrote only 100 verses and later people added more and he himself wrote. We do not know. It is because when there is a well-known person, a less-known poet write verses and put it in the name of the well-known poet. Do you know why they do that? Because we will read it if it is Bhadrahari's. If it is some other Shastri or somebody else, nobody will read it. Therefore, many shlokas could be interpolations, additions. That is why if you take editions of the Shatakatrayam, you will find variations. And but some of them are popularly coming down as Bhadrahari's composition. And in these 3 Shatakams, Bhadrahari deals with the 4 Purusharthas of life. It indicates that he was well versed in the Vedas. He was well versed in the Vedanta. He himself appears to be a Brahmajnani. And you will have opportunity to see some of the shlokas which can come only from such a person who has Brahma Vidya in him. And that too soaked in him. Even though historically they say he is a poet, but when we see some of the shlokas, we come to note that he was a very, very wise man himself. So, what are the 4 Purusharthas? They are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma means Dharma. It is very, very difficult to translate. And we can say a Vedic lifestyle and the consequent phalam is Dharma. Punya karma plus punya phalam is equal to dharma. And I will be in trouble if you ask me what is punyam. So these two words are unique words in simple language, and we can say Vedic lifestyle plus consequent benefits. Somebody used the word merits. So put together is called dharma. Artha means all types of wealth. Kamaha means all types of pleasures, recreations, and entertainment. Finally, moksha means freedom, liberation, etc. So in the Shringara Shatakam, Bhadrahari deals with the Kama Purushartha. In the Neeti Shatakam, Bhadrahari deals with the Dharma and Artha Purushartha. Of course, predominantly he deals with Dharma, and here and there he talks about the Artha also. So this is dealt with within the Neeti Shatakam. These two are done. In Vairagya Shatakam, Bhadrahari deals with the Moksha Purushartha. Literally, Vairagyam means detachment. Vairagyam invariably goes with moksha. So, Raga and Samsara are twin brothers. Vairagya and moksha are twin brothers. Raga means Raga means what? Attachment. And samsara means and a consequent result of raga. Why? Because you always suffer because of the attachment. So thus he wrote Shatakams dealing with the 4 Purusharthas. Of these 3 Shatakams, we propose to do the Neeti Shatakam and the word Neeti means Dharma. The word Dharma is a very technical, untranslatable word. No word can replace that. Dharma is nothing but the teachings given by the Vedas, which are to be compulsorily followed by an individual. Dharma can be defined as the teachings prescribed by the Vedas, which are to be compulsorily followed by the humanity. The definition of dharma is the chodana, lakshanaha, arthaha, dharmaha. Arthaha means the teachings. Chodana means in the form of compulsory commandments, prescriptions, wherein there is no choice. These teachings also include some of the things which are to be compulsorily avoided also. To put it in a simple language, Vedic do's plus Vedic don'ts is equal to dharma. They are not mere do's and don'ts. If the local government presents do's and don'ts, they are not dharma. If some medical fraternity presents do's and don'ts, it is not dharma. It is because they will say alcohol is good for heart if taken in small amounts. Therefore, medical science gives its own do's and don'ts. They are not called dharma. The condition is that they should be Vedic or to be more comprehensive scriptural do's and don'ts. So, what is the difference between Vedic and scriptural? Vedic includes only those things that Veda prescribes. When I use the word scriptural, it includes Veda based secondary scriptures, also like Purana, Itihasa, and Smriti Granthas, etc. They all come under scriptures. Therefore, do's and don'ts prescribed in the Puranas are also dharma. It is about this dharma that Bhartrihari is going to deal with. Now, these dharmas are broadly speaking in three different forms. The dharma is available in three different forms. One form of dharma is in the form of rituals and rites. All rituals and rites will come under the dharma. Agnihotram, Sandhyavandanam, Shraddham, Tarpana, Grahana Tarpanam, all of them come under dharma because they are prescribed by the scriptures. When a child is born, they do Jata Karma, Namakarana, Chaula, Annaprashna, Upanayana, Vivaha, and at the end it is Antyeshti. All these samskaras come under dharma. Not only that, they talk about certain Ashocha rules also. For example, when a child is born, he is prohibited, the parents, the father and mother, they are prohibited from doing certain things for a number of days. When somebody dies, then the family members, some of the family members are not supposed to do certain things. And there's a big list also is given. So all those Ashocha Niyamas also will come under dharma. It is a voluminous subject. Volumes of are written on this. Therefore, rituals and rites together form one aspect of dharma. Then the second form of or aspect of dharma is values. Values such as ahimsa, satyam, daya, maitri, and danam are to be followed. Then the things to be avoided are in the form of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Also come under dharma. So this is the second part of dharma. And the third part of dharma is attitudes that we should cultivate. So what type of attitude we should have towards various things and being? How should we look at our parents? For example, Taitriya says, Taitriya Upanishad, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. That is called attitude. The attitude towards all animals should be what? Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. Bhagavad Gita says, Sarvabhuta Hiterataha. All animals should be seen with an attitude of respect. Above all, the most important is attitude towards the world or nature in general. As the Veshri Vishwarupam, the Virat of Ishvara, which is the most unique aspect of the Vaidika Dharma. Parvatanam Himalaya. This is not an ordinary water H2O flowing by mistake, but it is the most sacred water, which is flowing through Ganges, very fragrant. So people come from southern end just to take a dip, to go up to north, go to Rishikesh, Haridwar, etc. And in Kashi, scientifically, they say the water is dirtiest in the world. Now they are in the process of cleaning it. Even sometime in the past, there used to be dead bodies used to float. So, but we have got a reverential attitude towards the Ganges. In fact, ideally, we should not pollute the rivers. We should learn from Westerners how to keep the rivers. But unfortunately, we make all the akramas and pollute the rivers. So it is not an attitude casually developed. It has been coming in Indian tradition from ages. We take the trees, we worship. We take the mountains, we worship. We take the rivers, we worship. We take the cows, we worship. Animals, we worship. Every animal, every Lord has got a God has got a vahana of one animal or a bird. So it is coming in the Indian tradition for ages. This is what exactly we saw in the Vishnu Sahasranama to divinize the entire universe. Is Dharma? Dharma is equal to rituals plus values plus attitudes. If you look into traditional Dharma Shastra books, one problem is that we find is that all those Dharma Shastra works, the ritual parts will be elaborately dealt with, and the values and attitudes are mentioned here and there. You read Manusmriti or any Smriti Grantha, the emphasis is laid on mostly on rituals and rites aspects. Unfortunately, the values for rituals vary from society to society. If we take the present society, the interest in rituals is almost going. How many people are regularly doing Agnihotram? No. How many Brahmanas are doing Sandhya Vandanam? No. How many Brahmanas have got sacred thread on the body? No. So a few people keep because it is handy for them to either hang the keys or scratch the back. Okay, so very few people value Sandhya Vandanam, Brahma Yagyam, Agnihotram, Shraddha is disappearing. I mean, priests have become a endangered species. Sometimes the priests themselves will say you do shortcuts of these things. Therefore, the ritualistic aspect of dharma often loses its importance as time changes. Even if we ask the people to start Agnihotram, people don't listen. After Shankaracharyas have tried, they could not change the society. On the other hand, society has changed Shankaracharyas as they themselves feel that some kind of a adjustment has to be made. And the second problem with ritualistic aspect of Dharma Shastra is that it cannot be universal because it is based on the Varna and Ashrama. From Varna to Varna, the ritualistic rules differ. Even the material out of which the sacred thread should be made varies from Varna to Varna. The material of danda which the brahmachari carries varies. Therefore, when you come to the rituals, you cannot talk about universal rituals because it varies from varna to varna. In one varna itself, it varies from ashrama to ashrama. Varna means Varna means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. That is the original Chaturvarnyam. Bhagavan says in Gita, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Guna Karma Vibhagashah. We have detailedly explained in the Vishnu Sahasranama class also. Ashrama means four stages of life. Brahmacharyam, Grahasthashram, Vanaprastham, Sannyasam. So that is why the ritualistic aspect of dharma often becomes out of date, or we have to present it in a capsule form. It is not, I'm not saying they are irrelevant. Please don't take it that way. They are absolutely relevant. Don't mistake me. And I'm not condemning the rituals or condemning the validity of the rituals also. Never. They are absolutely valid. But what happens is the society has changed. The times have changed. Society's attitude towards the ritual is changed. Whereas the beauty of the other two aspects, what is the other two aspects? The value aspect of Dharma Shastra and the attitude aspect of Dharma Shastra are relevant and useful at all times. In which century is the value of Satyam Vada valid? Satyam Vada means speak truth. Does it vary time to time? No. So the values and attitudes are meaningful, valid, useful, and compulsory at all times because most of the values are based on one fundamental principle or fundamental law of Dharma. So, what is a value? We can easily find out if we apply this law. What is the law? What you do not want others to do to you, do not do that to others. I don't want anybody to hurt me. Then I have got a value. What is the value? I should not hurt anyone. I don't want anyone to cheat me. I have got a second value. I should not cheat anyone. I don't want anybody to lie to me. I have got a third value. I should not lie. I don't want anybody to insult me, so I should not insult anyone. So there's a beautiful shloka presented. Veda Vyasa says, "No shuyatam dharma sarvasvam shutva chapya vadaryatam na atmanah pratikulani paresham na samacharet." Shuyatam dharma sarvasvam shutva chapyavadharyatam na atmanah pratikulani paresham na samacharet. This is the exact translation of the English saying atmanah pratikulani, what I considered pratikulam to me, unfavorable to me, uncomfortable to me, they are uncomfortable to the others also. So don't do that. So some of these are universals. So when I say a person doesn't want to get hurt, to which varna does it pertain to? Is it Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grahastha, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Indian, any other national doesn't want to get hurt? It is universal. Nobody wants to get hurt. So this is based on universal likes and dislikes. There are certain likes and dislikes which are universals. There are certain likes and dislikes which are individualistic. Somebody said, no, for example, Hindustani music, somebody doesn't like, but it doesn't hurt anybody. Okay? Himsa, the body is not a particular person's communities, no? So it is not a problem. So it is universal. Hindustani music, so somebody doesn't like, okay, so be it. Therefore, values based on universal likes and dislikes are universal values. Most of the dharmas are universal value called Samanya Dharmaha. Samanya Dharmaha. I'll give you a few of them as a list. Ahimsa, Satyam, Brahmacharyam, Asteyam, Aparigraham, Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam, Acharya Upasanam. Huge list coming in Bhagavad Gita. Daivi Sampat in the 16th chapter, and under the title of Jnanam in the 13th chapter, you got a huge list coming. Go and refer. Of course, there are some Vishesha dharmas or special dharmas also which vary from Varna to Varna, Ashrama to Ashrama. Similarly, most of the attitudes are also universal. I want everybody to respect me even though I don't deserve. Everybody knows and I also know, but still I want to be respected. So the glory of Neeti Shatakam is that it is talking about the second and third aspects of dharma. It is not concentrating on the first aspect of dharma. It is dealing with the second and the third aspect of dharma, namely values and attitudes, most of which are universal. They don't deal much with the ritualistic part of dharma. Therefore, this work has became very, very famous. In fact, it seems in the schools and colleges where Sanskrit is a subject, they used to give few slokas. Unfortunately, I never learned Sanskrit in the schools. That time, the Sanskrit was abolished from Tamil Nadu. Very, very unfortunate. But it seems it used to be there. Of course, as an equivalent of it, fortunately, we have Tirukural. Let me touch upon this. Because I would request everybody to keep a Tirukural book. You don't need to know Tamil. If you know Tamil, it is very good. If you do not know Tamil, there are English translations, or all languages it is translated. So the equivalent part of that, Valluvar covers in the Arathupal. There are 380 couplets or verses which talks about all kinds of dharmas. Beautifully given. And then Vishesha Dharma comes in the second chapter, second section called Purutpal. So there it is covered. So Neeti Shatakam is there. Tirukural is available for us in terms of dharma. And the third thing is, actually, if you still say, no, I don't know where to go and read it, and then for which the Veda gives us a guidance. The Veda gives us a guidance about how to go about the chanting. Where is the book? Here it is there. The Veda gives a guidance of how to chant, how to follow dharma. If somebody has got a confusion, it's beautifully given in the Taittiriya Upanishad in the Sikshavalli. I will just give you a chant that particular portion exactly, and then I will give you the a running meaning of it. Okay. अत यदि ते कर्म विचिकित्सा वा वृत्त विचिकित्सा वा स्यात् एतत्र ब्राह्मणा संवशिनः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलूक्षा धर्म कामा स्युः यथा ते तत्र वर्तेरन् तथा तत्र वर्तेताः अताभ्याख्यातेषु एतत्र ब्राह्मणा संवशिनः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलूक्षा धर्म कामा स्युः यथा ते तेषु वर्तेरन् तथा तेषु वर्तेताः एष आदेशः एष उपदेशः एषा वेदोपनिषत् एतदनुशासनम् एवमुपासितव्यम् एवमुपैचतु एवमुचैतदुपास्यम्. I will read the running meaning of this beautiful meaning. Suppose you have a doubt regarding a course of actions or a doubt regarding the conduct of life, there would be Brahmins in that place who are discriminating, experienced, impartial, and considerate and committed to dharma. May you act in that situation in such a manner as they would act in that situation. Suppose there is a doubt regarding your conduct with respect to the accused people. There would be Brahmins in that place who are discriminating, experienced, impartial, considerate, and committed to dharma. May you conduct yourself with respect to them in such a manner as they would conduct themselves with respect to them. This is the injunction of Shruti. This is the instruction of Smriti. This is the essence of Vedas. This is the commandment of the Lord. Life must be led in this manner. Life should be led in this manner alone. Here, one question may come: who is that Brahmana? I told you in the Vishnu Sahasranama class itself, Brahmana is the one. It is not by the jati. It is about the personality. It is about the one who has got the sattvic personality. There are three types of guna: sattvam, rajas, and tamas. So sattvam means very contemplative, intellectual personality, quiet personality, introvert personality. Lot of details, descriptions comes in the Bhagavad Gita. And rajas means one who is highly extroverted, active, selfish or selfless, those kinds of things. And third one is tamas, neither sattvam nor rajas, very procrastinating, lazy personality. So a brahmana is the one who is a sattvic person who is working for moksha. It is comes in the quotation is coming in the very clearly in the definition of brahmana in the Upanishad. It is very very clear. So when in doubt, you always ask. In fact, Valluvar says in there is a adhikaram called Periyar Tunai Kodal. Periyar Tunai Kodal means seek the counsel of elders, learned people. It is talking to the king actually. In the Purutpal, in the Arasiyal Adhikaram, it comes, that section it comes. The Periyare Tunai Kodal, and beautiful chorals are coming, which says, when in doubt, you always ask those, seek the counsel of elders. And in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Yadyat acharasi shreshtaha tattatyeva itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurte lokas tadanu vartate. Arjuna, follow. Okay, because you be a role model, you are a king. You have to be a role model because people will follow you. Whatever you do, you don't do, people follow. So, dharma, the values and attitudes have to be inculcated to the children from the beginning. How? The first one is parents, and second one is the teachers. They too have got maximum influence in the formative age. The parents as well as the teachers in the schools have got a maximum influence. And then subsequently they have got other friends and others, they are going through all those things. That's what it is. So in this Neeti Shatakam, we are going to look at these values and attitudes, which is about 60 odd verses we will see. And our Swamiji, my Gurunatha, Swami Paramarthananda, in fact, has taken this text in a camp. Actually, in those days, he used to take a set of spiritual students to various camps and conducts various texts, conducts workshops. So in the evening, he was taking this Neeti Shatakam, and fortunately, one of the noble persons has compiled the transcript of it, and so he has selected few of them, about 50, 60 shlokas, from the 100 or shlokas, and he has put them into groups, and I am following that only. Okay, and he put it into five topics. The first topic is the Samanya Nitihi, the general do's and don'ts useful to all. The general values, the general rules of conduct are called Samanya Nitihi or Samanya Dharma. This is the first one. The second topic that is going to be Sajjanaha. What are the signs of a noble person? What are the traits of the noble person? So that we can know whether we belong to one of them, at least by mistake. This is the second topic, Sajjanaha. See, because if you have got a good people definition, at least you have got a goal post in front of you. You know how to do that. In fact, in Gita also, Bhagavan says, na, Sthita Pragya Lakshanam, Parabhakta Lakshanam, Gunatita Lakshanam. He displays what does a jnani look like. So we will be able to look at it. So here he is talking about the people who follow dharma. So how those noble people look like. So it is helpful for us to at least emulate and then go towards that. You have got a yardstick, put it this way, a dipstick. And the third topic we have chosen is Muda Janaha. Muda Janaha. Now, the fourth one is the Vidihi, aதாவது the fate or destiny or God's will. So Bhadrahari very strongly writes about Vidhi. So if you read those verses, you may almost become fatalistic. We may even get converted and begin to argue that there is no free will at all. They are such a powerful shlokas. Then he writes on Purushartha. What is that? The importance of free will, which means that he accepts free will. I mean, self-effort, self-determination. He does emphasize them also. So fate is there, free will is there. Both of them go together, hand in hand. We have seen it in the Bhagavad Gita. Uddharet atmanatmanam natmanam avasadiyet. Rise yourself by your own effort. At the same time, he says, Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachinna. So be a tool in my hands. Bhagavan says those things have to be very clearly understood. So thus we will see five topics: Samanya Nitihi, Sajjanaha, Mudajanaha, Vidihi, and Purusharthas are the five topics, and they are all over the place. So there's no serial number; they are all mixed up. So that's what it is. And before going to all these verses, as per the tradition, Bhadrahari writes a beautiful Mangala Shloka, which reveals his Vedantic knowledge. He is not a mere literary poet, but he is very well versed in the highest two Upanishads. So Bhadrahari shows that through this brilliant Mangala Shloka, which is not on any particular deity, but it is on the Paramatma himself. First, we will see the Shloka, the meaning of that, and then we will go to the main text. So let us chant. I have given you in that also in your I have circulated it. Dikkala adi avachinna ananda chinmatra murtaye swanubhutya ekamanaya namashantaya tejase. Dikkala adi avachinna ananda chinmatra murtaye swanubhutya ekamanaya namashantaya tejase. Let us look at the meaning. Here Bhadrahari offers his pranams to Paramatma. Paramatmane Namaha. So the first line is one single word. It's a long word. What type of Paramatma? Chinmatra Murtihi. Murtihi means Swarupam. Chinmatra Murtihi means Chinmatrasya Swarupasya. One who is of the nature of pure pure awareness, pure consciousness. Matra means pure. Chit means Chaitanyam. Matra means pure, Chit means Chaitanyam, Chinmatra means pure consciousness. So he could not write these shlokas unless he is well versed in the Upanishads. Because Taittiriya Upanishads say Brahma Lakshanam, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam Brahma. So what type of Chinmatra Murti? Ananta Chinmatra Murti. It is the nature of pure consciousness which is limitless. Anta means limit, Ananta means limitless. Why is it limitless? Because it is the Anavat Chinnaha. Anavat Chinnaha. It is not conditioned, circumscribed by anything. Avachinna means conditions walled or fenced. Put it in a fence. It is fenced, and it is not fenced, or otherwise you can say delimited by, conditioned by anything. And normally the conditioning or limiting is done by three factors. Anything that can be conditioned by or limited by three factors called desha, kala, vastu. Desha means spatial conditioning, like walls of the hall. It limits the hall spatially. This is called desha avachedaha. The hall is called desha avachedaha. Similarly, it is conditioned by the time, because few years before it was not there. It has a beginning, it will have an end also. That means it is conditioned by time. Therefore, the hall is called kala avachidda. The third one is vastu. Vastu means property. Hall is limited by hallness. Therefore, it is not a tree, it is not a man, it is not a woman. It is only a hall and hall alone. Therefore, it is called limitations by the hallness. So, man is limited by the manness, woman is limited by the womanness. It is called the nest limitations. Our consciousness is not limited by all the three. The, they are all there everywhere. So you have to understand. So he says this whole thing here. What he is saying is, in the shloka, the meaning is deshakala avachinna. Let me take out the shloka. Deshakala adi avachinna ananda chinmatra murtaye. Then we will do swanubhutya ekamanaya namashantaya tejase. Now, we have to see the meaning of Swanubhutya Ekamanaya. Now, so we will see the details in the next class. I'll just give a quick running meaning. So in our experience, we understand that that's the only truth. That is only tum, and that is the Paramatma Swarupam. And Namashantaya Tejase. Tejas means it's a Jyoti Swarupam. Tejas refers to Jyoti Swarupam. Namashantaya, the Shantamana. That means what? It is a very Shantam. In the Mandukya, Shivam Shantam Advaitam Shantam. So and that then Namaha. Namaha means I prostrate. I do Namaskara to that particular Jyoti. This is the meaning of it. We will go into the details of the shloka further again, and then go into the proper text also. And I want to make an announcement. I will keep referring to the relevant Tirukurals, and I will give the numbers for those who do not have the understanding of Tamil, so they can go and refer the particular number in your book, English or whatever language you are following. You can refer it, because I want to connect this with the Tirukural also. Of course, Swamiji has not done it, but I want to do it. So that is the one change. Main content is from what Swamiji has taught, but I would like to link wherever there are relevant Tirukurals are there, because as I told you, Tirukural has got so many dharma. Arathapal, I told you. So I would like to include, and I will not make it a Tamil class. Still, everything will be in English, but I'll give a reference. Maybe I'll chant them just for those Tamil students, but you can refer the number. You can go back and get the meaning. I'll give the meaning in English. Okay, I'll give the running meaning in English. I will try to limit not to do it in Tamil. I will try to do it so that it can be followed by everybody. So we will conclude this first class with this, and we'll continue with the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Magi Mahishaha. Gobrahmanebhyo Shubhamas Nityam. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Krishnarpanamastu. Hari Om.